welcome back to another Daily Walk. Well, today I want to talk about a little bit more bad news out of Canada, but some actual good news that has come out of California. And there was a little bit of question because MacArthur had mentioned something positive out of Canada, and then of course the following day a pastor's arrested. We'll get to that in a moment. I think he meant to say California. There was some discussion about did he misspeak on that one? Yeah, California, Canada, and there's weird stuff going on in both of them. So let's go ahead and jump up to Canada first. I have been talking, of course, about how Canada has went from a free nation to a police state very quickly, and they have now arrested their third pastor for the heinous and hideous crime of holding worship services. How dare you worship your God in the police state of Canada? I mean, you have more freedom to worship God in China right now, guys. Canada has lost its ever-loving mind. And it's kind of interesting. So this was another one in Alberta. Most of these seem to be in Alberta. Jim Acosta, I can't remember if he's in Alberta or BC. The other two, I believe, were, and I forget the new pastor's name. Tim was his first name, but he's just holding church services, and the police were waiting for him. And at the end of the service, they let most of the people go home, and then they arrested the pastor. And it was a very gracious arrest. It wasn't like full-on SWAT team coming in. They arrested him without handcuffs. He said, "Hey, I'll surrender to you." They let him talk to his wife and his kids, give them their final hugs. Then he went to the back of the police car to be arrested while Rebel News was there. Some church congregation members were still there. There were a few of them left. And so once again, we have yet another pastor arrested. Now, the Jim, you know what, maybe he was Tim. I forget. There's so many of them being arrested up there now. The Jim Acosta case, I believe that the court keeps on trying to, or the state keeps on trying to push the court case back because they don't want to be challenged in court. And this is a thing that we're starting to see here in the United States. Coming back to the United States, what we're starting to see is when people are bringing these cases before the courts and saying, hey, there's no justifiable reason for all these lockdowns, and then they're saying to the state, you've got to come in and present your case, and they don't want to. They're walking back and saying, oh, no, we just trust us. But they're saying, no, we have a panel of scientists as well that are all experts. And so this seems to be the one place the states can't be shut down. So going over to California for the good news, of course, there's been a few different churches that have been holding up firm. One of those being John MacArthur's church at Grace to You. And that's one they keep on pushing the case out because the state does not want to have to go into court and try and defend their justification. But there is another one, and that is, I'm going to get it wrong again without seeing the headline right in front of me. I think it's, I said it was, let's see, I think it was a Harvest Chapel, I think is the name of it. And so that church has been yet another one like MacArthur that has been holding up and saying there is no evidence. Well, this last week, the court, and I can't remember if it was one source I read said it was a victory in a court case. Another one said it's the state settled, so they did not have to bring in their evidence. And I'm not sure which one of those it happened to be. But the end result of that case is that now the state of California has to pay the church back $1.3 million in covering court costs. And in addition to that, they are not allowed, the state is not allowed, they are barred from making any restrictions that are not unilateral across all services. So remember, this church is coming in saying, hey, the stripper clubs can be open, the bars can be open, the box stores can be open, why can we not be open? And in that case, it was on that basis that the judge told Gavin Newsom and the state, you cannot restrict religious worship while allowing non-religious worship being open. It is on that basis that they lost their case, and they have to pay back the attorney's fees and additional fees into it. And so this is a good victory. Now, it is on the exact same pretenses that MacArthur's is also suing the state. So chances are that one is also going to come down towards that case. And of course, with MacArthur's case, there's a whole lot of other things that are hinging on this. I'll remind you that the city, after 40 years, is like, well, you can't park in our parking space anymore. Like, on what? And so they had to stay on that. All sorts of things, all of the fines to the health departments, all of the different prosecutory attempts they're trying to do, all of the trying to shut them down. All of this is on hold while this one case with the Grace Community Church goes through the cases. And here we have another very, very similar, almost exact case, sides with the church. It's not too unsurprising to see that was ultimately going to happen because the Supreme Court did side with the church earlier. So now any lower court that does not side with the church to talk about freedom of worshiping your God now is going to be battling with the Supreme Court decision, and that generally will not go well. And so the good news is for here in America, in addition to many places are opening up, of course not the communist state of China, of communist state of California, excuse me, hard to differentiate between those two. That one is still, all of a sudden they're like, follow the science, follow the science. Well, the science now says you can open up. They're like, no, don't follow the science anymore. They're just making it up. Do you guys not realize? So with all of this, many of the states are starting to open up. We're starting to see more freedoms come in. Not the population is still brainwashed into all of the restrictions anyway, but at least we're not being hassled for those of us that have been following the science all along. And so with that, at least things are starting to open up. Things are starting to be a little bit more free in that respect. But even there in the communist state of California, even there, it does appear that the courts are starting to side with the churches. So the good news is that we can get back to it. Now, let's see, at this point in time, now we should start seeing a mass opening of churches. If we do not start seeing a mass openness of churches, I will highly advise you, if you're going to a church that still refuses to open, you need to find another church. They are living in fear, not living in faith. I will remind you, it has been the Christians at the forefront of every pandemic, every global plague, every persecution. It is the true and the sound and the solid Christians that are standing up and doing the work of serving the people and ministering the gospel of Jesus Christ. If your church is still on Zoom meetings because they're terrified, they have walked away from God at this point in time. Leave, find a church who has the gonads to open up, because that is what we need. We need people who are going to rely on faith, not rely on fear. That is where we will leave it today. So thanks for watching. Have a look at the website, ourwalkinchrist.com, and we will see you next time. I hope that you enjoy your daily walk in our Lord.